an hour and a half at like 3 o'clock or something
Dude.
in the afternoon. But
Yeah.
then
So
the night before I had maybe 2 hours. Night before that it was the same thing, like 2 hours from like 5 to 7 a.m. It's brutal, dude. Makes you feel like you're drunk all the time.
yeah. Yeah,
So if you
actually,
want to quit drinking and still feel drunk, just don't sleep.
they talk about can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Everything's
All right.
great.
They talk about that being honestly the case, like with lack of sleep impairs you as much as drinking like X amount of percent. And how many people are almost legally drunk in the mornings when they drive to work
Great point.
by how lack of sleep that they've had. You know, that's really interesting too, as we get into like school season and like kids going back to school, and it's like pain for one. I mean, all of us in general, but pain's 5, going to be 6. These
Nice.
kids still need, you know, a good 10 hours. It could be 12. Like there's an argument between 10 and 12.
I've seen that chart. Yeah.
And so like, how are these kids going to get up and go to 7 a.m. school or 8 a.m. school with not enough sleep
for the rest of their lives?
Well,
much,
really
until
for the
they
rest
graduate.
of their life. But in this time of their lives, when it could be argued that they need it more. But the studies have shown, and from that book, even because older people will say they don't need as much sleep, but that's totally not true. We've talked about
that's why they all get Alzheimer's, man.
It's so true. There's a lot of that in there, man. The heart disease, all that stuff plays.
I just
think about high blood pressure. The high blood pressure, because you're not giving your heart enough time to chill out,
recover, recycle everything. Yeah, repair any damage, clean out some shit. Yeah, it's
so
super important
to clean out some shit. So the only thing I really come back to, man, the thing I come back to the most and what I really want is a place that people can, there's already places like this, but I want a place where people can come and unplug completely and do a complete, to some extent, I wouldn't call it a dopamine detox. Because
I the mute when I cough. Sorry,
no, I don't want to call it a dopamine detox, because I think people should come and you need that, like whatever you're getting that from, whether it's
just good feelings and people
just
being positive.
Yeah, whether it's just getting a workout in and feeling good about it. There's the girl.
Hey.
Face. Look at that. See?
Hey, what isn't there something where like you can tell like by somebody's tongue like how healthy they are or something like that? Isn't that true?
Oh geez. All I know is Tony didn't look like he was feeling too hot. Jenny got on camera now. He looks, all's perked up now. Look at all
when the ladies show up in the room, you gotta like put it on.
When the ladies show up,
gotta force that smile. Thanks for letting me steal your man for a minute,
dude. We were at the pool and we were about to leave. Payne was cold, but we invited a bunch of his buddies up, his new friends.
Sure.
And so then he wanted to get back in the pool at like 8:30, and I knew it closed at 9, and I was just like what's another 15 minutes? And then then we're getting out and I was like getting him changed. I'm like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I was like, Uncle Tony.
I was running a little late too, because I went to the range, you saw.
Well, that's
and I was trying to make it back. Yeah.
That's what sparked it.
Yeah. So I was like, I was hitting balls at the range, dude. And then second to last shot, I hit it pretty good, and good ball flight, good strike, good swing, everything. And I had one more ball left. I picked that thing up and threw it.
And went home. You are a man. That is a man move.
These guys are looking at me like, what the fuck is with this guy?
Yeah. Like, I got it.
I'm like, I'm in on that. We're good.
What range did you go to?
It's right here. It's Poplar Creek, the old concert arena. They turned it into a kick-ass golf course.
Nice, dude. Usually it's
the other way around. Yeah, right. They turn a kick-ass golf course into a concert arena.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do about the sleeping thing, man?
I think it's allergy related for sure, because like you can see my hands, and I'm starting to break out into hives and weird shit because of this has always been my deal. Every August since I was a little kid, it went away for a while when I was in like high school and college and shit, and then it came back. I don't know. So it's like one of those things. I take some allergy meds. It goes away for a while. What I'm gonna do tonight though is just it's the humidity. The air feels so heavy, and it's just so, even though we have the AC on, when we're upstairs in our bedroom, because our bedroom is upstairs and above that is the attic, which is collecting all of that heat and humidity all day. Then once the sun goes down at like 2 and 3 in the morning, somewhere around there, everything will start to equalize, and that pressure from upstairs in that attic will start to seep through the ceiling, like literally that pressure. And then you have this like dead air, like almost like pressure on you. And you're like, and you just can't get breath.
It's too moist.
Right. So like when you go into autopilot, when you're going to sleep or whatever, and you let an autopilot take over to sleep, my autopilot's like, whoa, we're a little short on, almost like apnea, It's like having a apnea for a month. So all I have to do really is just go downstairs and set myself up downstairs where that pressure and that humidity is way less. It's way colder. The air is way cleaner. Sleep underneath it. So honestly, the anxiety of it happening has kind of prevented me from taking advantage of that the last 2 nights. But I think that I'm over it because I was able to sleep in the afternoon today. I'm going to be able to sleep tonight, I think, a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I mean, like, that's all I got to do is just sleep under it, like you said.
Got to fly low.
Yeah, watch some Vikings on Amazon Prime,
Dude, so deep into the Vikings because you found out that's where you're at now.
Yeah, I got some blood. Stavanger. You should look up that town. I think I sent you.
I did look up the town. You sent me that YouTube too. I kind of watched the lady doing the little tour through town.
Yeah, and it's like super artsy. Cool. Yeah, super like niche and like hidden. It's like a hidden gem. No one's going to that town. If you start talking about major cities in Scandinavia, Stavanger is not coming up. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a hidden gem, man. It's like the gateway to the fjords. That's what it is.
It's like
I don't know if that's
St.
what it
Louis
means, but that's what they're saying. Yeah, exactly.
The St. Louis of the
of Norway. St. Louis of Norway.
Yeah, of the north.
Yeah, I love it too, man. It was really cool to find that out, just because you can have something to latch onto. And it wasn't like, like these people that are like, I'm like 0.6% Native American, so I'm gonna play that card. No, it's not like that. Like I was like 64% Norwegian.
Wow, that's
in
cool.
Scandinavian in general.
Yeah, that's true. It is cool regardless of the percentage, though, to like find something that you didn't know you had and then be like still want to have some of that identity, meaning like, well, let me learn more about these people.
Your history.
Yeah, like I almost wish I was Hopi. Just because of that thing you sent me, I started going deep on the Hopi tribe, and I'm like, I want to be a part of the Hopi, which I am. I am because I live here and I'm in this land. Like, regardless, I'm in this land, and this is the land. So, like,
did you say that you have Native American in you, or do you not know?
I don't know.
No, I thought you did. Somebody told me that, and I thought it was an Arizona guy. And you're one of the only Arizona dudes I know. But I'm going to Arizona, actually, or old Arizona dudes. Now you're Nebraska.
Yeah, of course you're going to Arizona now. I just left, bruh.
Well, Marco has a place there. So him and his mom. Yeah. So he invited me out for his birthday at the end of October. And I was like, okay, weather should be a little bit better. Let's see what we can do. But I told him, I said, hey, we're going to go out there. We're going to do our thing. I want to go check out the Hopi reservation, or like, try to find that Four Corners area or something like that, because that's where they're at,
Yep.
So I'm going to definitely go check that out. I want to go get some Hopi stuff. I want to go check out some Hopi vibes.
And I couldn't believe it was there, like it was in Arizona where we just were. So I was like, of course it would be there.
Like north and I think west of you.
North and up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the Four Corners is a special place anyway. There's a lot of stuff, weird stuff going on there. I've heard about too.
Weird is cool.
Weird is cool these days. Dude, a couple
things. Just in general.
Things. My son loves being Hulk right now, so he's out there in his underwear going.
Hey man, pose down. There's nothing wrong with the hardcore pose down.
Just got out of at the pool. He's doing pose. He's like, "Hold on, Dad." He looks around. Let me do a pose.
Let me break one of these off really quick.
Yeah, he's like trying to get the traps. He's like, "Look at these."
Yeah, he's trying to roll them out.
He's trying to roll them, and he thinks he's huge, which is the best because he's.
That is the best. That's like, the beauty of being a kid.
He's like, I'm huge. There's no way. Let me tell you something weird about our house, and this is also some weird insight into Jenny and I. So I could probably show you. We'll see. We'll try. We'll see how it works. So here's like the window to the outside. You're not gonna be able to see it, but like right through there. Oh, there it is. See that little red light? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hilarious. So the other day, we've lived here in the basement for going on probably 2 months now, and I see this red light. I'm like, what is this red light? And I go to the side of the house, and it's just like one of those lights you put in your yard to shine up at your house or whatever. That's red. There's no other lights like it around the house. The other night it was doing a little bit of blinking. You think, and I mowed the lawn today, you think I would go over there and just either rip it out of the ground. I don't know what it's doing there, but it's still there and it's still on. So either some guy was flagging his red light specials to the side window down here in the basement, I don't know
he was marking his house for like the zombie apocalypse.
For something. But the thing is, it's still there. How come I haven't torn it out of the ground? Tonight after this call, I'm going out to get it out of the ground.
Yeah, I love it. I have a bunch of those things. We would leave it
there. Like, what is that?
I have tons of those where I'm like, I should just go take it out. I should just go do this right now.
Yeah. Why? It's strange like that. Like, that's a weird thing that we would leave.
And it's usually the last months, like you're saying. And then out of nowhere, I'll just be like, I'm going to go do it right now.
Yeah. Or then you're like, well, let's sell the house 6 years later and like, fine, let's get that red light out of there.
Yeah. Right. Like when you're going to get out of there. And then you move into your new place and there's a fucking red light. And you're like, what?
You're like, oh shit, dude. So I know, I mean, if you're not feeling hot, you can go, but you seem good.
No, that's what I said. It's just like I said, I feel like run down, that's all. I just didn't want you making fun of me for not having as much of the fire and,
oh shit. No,
panache that I usually have.
The panache. I'll tell you, with the way you've been hitting the rings and stuff, I mean, on one hand, you think it would be obviously great for your health, which I'm sure it is. You're probably your numbers are probably phenomenal. I mean, like you're resting a heart.
I average like 300 a week or 3,000 total points a week. I'm back on my streak.
Dude, you said we would be getting to the 3,000 points, and you're right. How many 600-point days are you putting in a week on average?
Nah, just one maybe. I mean, like it's so hard because if you put like back-to-back 600s, you're gonna fuck that third day.
Yeah. No, that's a true statement. So the other morning, I haven't been doing a lot of morning runs, but the other morning I went for, I don't know, 2 miles, let's say, just like a 2 mile.
I think I remember my watch going off.
Like yeah. And I almost took a picture. I don't know, the Apple Watch must have done an update, or the 3 won't let you like snap a picture of the watch. But I wanted to kick it to you and be like, look how much
I didn't even know you could do that. What?
Yeah, you used to be able to do the big button and the little button, the 2 side buttons at the same time.
Oh, like a screenshot, like on all their other devices. Yeah.
But shit. Yeah, there you go. Yours just did it, I think. And now it's saved into your photos.
Okay, I'm gonna have to mess with that.
Like that's how I used to post when I would wake up. I tried to do a Jocko Willink for a little bit. Like 5 a.m. Boom, I would just flash it, and then
I gotta start doing that, dude.
That's pretty good.
I gotta start doing that.
I'll tell you what. My point there is I did a couple miles in the morning, super easy pace, like 13-minute, 12.5-minute mile. Just plug in, bang, 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 get your brain going. And I wanted to show that to you because like there's that 10 p.m. 400 or 300 calorie run that we have to get in, 10:30 p.m. run. And whatever
depending on the day,
depending on the day, and to have that thing knocked out to where all you have to do is live your normal day and the rest of it bangs itself out, dude, is very nice. Is very nice. And
it's like, super key.
You're gonna have to flip a script. I'm only saying this because of your sleep.
I agree.
I had to flip this.
You know what else it is too? Is like same thing like you were saying to bring it back to the Hopis. I got this other Native American website on YouTube where or YouTube channel where they just have, I think I sent you the walk one, you listened to that and absolutely loved it. It's that channel. And there was a bunch of interviews, that you can watch about like peace, about the wolf story. There's a bunch of them. And so one of them was like the old elder was talking to one of the grandsons and was explaining to him that you have to get up early and you have to take care of like the spiritual aspect early. You have to put the gratitude out there, and be thankful for a bunch of things, like kind of like the journal that I was doing.
Yeah.
And I've definitely noticed since I haven't been doing the journal for the last, I would say probably 6 months, because I ran out of them. And then I tried to do it on the computer or on the iPad, but I got lazy, because it was like not the same routine. I've definitely noticed a change in my behavior and my gratitude, I should say, the vibe in my frequencies. I definitely, not enough podcasting and not enough fishing. Those 3 I've identified as lacking hard and causing a lot of strife for me.
So, dude, I feel the same way. I feel like there's been a period where the podcasting I'm missing. Like I put one out, I struggled to put one out a couple weeks ago, and it's still getting good traction. And people ask about it all the time.
I love it.
My friends ask, "Where have you been? Like, why are you still doing the show?" So it's like I'm feeling that too, and I wanted to be like, maybe there's a part in the summer that we have to take off, and allow ourselves to be okay with that, because we're gonna need that, and however that manifests itself. But yeah, I feel you, and it weighs on you, and I'm like, why does this stuff weigh on me when it's things because I want to do them
in control, right? And you're like passionate about it, but then at the same time, there's like a block.
There's like a block, but I think the block comes from, it's just like working out. It comes from falling off the horse. Cause after like 2 weeks of not working out, you haven't done that in a while, but trying to run again feels like you're starting all over sometimes. You're like, oh my
I
God,
just
I'm
started
so
swinging
overweight. My
kettlebells,
knees are
and
hurting.
dude, oh my fucking Lord.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
was I was swinging kettlebells yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm a
Yeah.
2 day after sore guy, and today,
Uh,
oh, man,
well, we'll do that one video we watched a
to
while
your point.
back with
Yeah.
Joe Rogan and that guy talking about going at a 7 or an 8 every time.
Pavel Tatsuini, was
No,
that
not
who it
that
was?
guy. I love that guy though. But no, this other guy talking about, he was more talking about jiu-jitsu, but he was saying in general, training in general,
Juju.
you want to be able to go every day, right? So at the end of the year, I have X amount of hours more
Hours
training
in.
than you.
Yeah.
So he's like, some guys will go really hard 5 rounds, 3 days a week. He's like, but I'm going 3 good rounds every day. He's like, so at
That's
the end of the
probably the better
year,
move.
he's like, so at the end of the year, you might be able to like go really intense, but I felt that too. I just don't burn out every day. Like I know how to go intense, but at the end of the year, he's like, if you only have
More working.
15, yeah, if you
Yeah.
only have 15 like rounds and I'm doing 3 or however, and that's seven
Yeah, the
days a week,
math
he's like,
the
I'm
math
doing
is in my
21.
favor.
He's like,
Yeah.
at the end of the year, even though you can go like those long rounds, he's like, I've done hours more training than you have. So I'm like, he's like, the
It's
difference, and
true.
you've told me this. With you sit with a brown belt, you sit with like an older blue belt or black,
Yeah.
how they handle. So when you have like 100 more hours than the other guy, that's a big
And
deal.
that's kind of what your sensei judges your belt promotions on, is how many hours you have put in. Obviously, you
True.
have to test through and be competent,
Yeah,
but
it should come
if
down
you
to
put in the
hours
hours
then.
in,
Yeah.
you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
And to speak to your point, like I've been teaching this to Dakota recently, I've been teaching it to myself recently. I've figured out why some of the things that I've attempted in my life failed, and one of the reasons why was because I was going about it all wrong. So everybody's always about like set goals for yourself, put down what you want, set goals, set goals, set goals. You hear that since you were like in high school, probably even before, junior high and stuff. If you don't set goals, you'll never have anything to shoot for. You'll never achieve anything, blah, blah, blah. So I realized that's bullshit. Setting goals is pretty much a way to get to a point, and then you're just going to be like, okay, now what? So if you hit the goal, you got to set another goal. If you don't set a goal, you fall off the horse or the wagon, like you were saying, and you have to keep setting goals, and you have to keep doing this, and you have to keep pushing the finish line out further and further. And sometimes people will see that they can never get to that finish line. They come to this realization, like, I'm never going to get there. So even if they got right to it, they realize that the finish line's actually way over there. So in actuality, you will end up quitting the thing, or you'll give up on the thing because you're frustrated, or you just never, there's no progress in your mind. You'll start to, the weird shit will go through your head.
Yeah.
So I figured out the real way to do it is basically like what you were just saying, right? So the real way to be successful in this life, and the real hack that all the rich, successful people, spiritually successful, I'm not going to just refer to money as the lone measuring stick of success. It's spirituality. So the real way to do this and be successful in everything you attempt is to not worry about setting goals. Don't set goals. All you got to do is say this, like we've done it. I want to read 20 pages a day. I want to work on piano 1 hour a day. I want to work on jujitsu 1 hour a day every day of the week. And if you can be consistent, you're going to win over anybody else that sets goals and shit. So as long as you just make your goal, I want to work on X, Y, Z, whatever it is, for 1 hour a day. That's all you got to do, and you'll be super successful. And then this way too, you can plan it. You can find a way to fit it into your schedule. You can permanently stick it into your schedule at a spot and then schedule around that. You can hold yourself accountable way easier. There's so many different things that you can do by just saying, I just want to do this for an hour. Yeah. And if you'll find, you'll be like, well, I'll do 2 hours tomorrow. That's not the point. You just set new goals. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess I shouldn't say that it's you shouldn't set goals. You should set the correct goals, and it's consistency.
I agree. So what you're saying is, like, obviously consistency is key. I remember when I was doing Arbonne for a little bit there, they said, look, these guys wrote books and said, if you would just ask one person every day.
There you go.
If they're interested in your business. In 3 months, you'll be light years ahead of somebody that's been doing this half-assed for years. Be like, but because nobody does it. But like, if you can consistently for like they said, they never said the thing, but what I saw the numbers work out to is 5 years. If you seriously ask somebody, truthfully try to find somebody and ask them or talk to them about the business every day, just one person for 5 years, you could really make, really great money. Look at Shay. She's crushing it. Crushing it, that girl.
One of the things I was referring to when we were talking about was YouTube subscribers. So yeah,
perfect. That's perfect. So like, think about, because I bought a program, the VRA, VRA Academy, through this Sean Cannell guy. You've probably seen him online. I don't know, but he's and I bought his program and I've been going through it. I have the printouts next to my chair and I've been filling it out and doing it right. Who's my target audience? What are my shows about? Like, I know he says just record and do it, but I've put out enough videos that I know when I'm ready, I'll do it. So it's like, I would just want to do the back end work that I never do. I always jump in.
You have
I'm just a jump in guy. So now that I've jumped in, I want to go back and kind of start over right at the beginning. That's what we always do.
I've done that on a lot of my projects too.
Yeah, you do that too. Like, you even said when we were doing those computer things, you're like, hey, jump in and go real fast, like kind of come through some of it, and then like when you get stumbled, then you kind of like back in, and then you kind of like work through those problems, which is a great way to pick which lessons. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, you're talking process goals is what you're talking. Like, what's the process? Like, the process is you want to write in your journal 1 hour a day or whatever.
Or you want 100,000 YouTube subscribers.
100,000.
When I was having this conversation, it was about YouTube subscribers with Dakota,
No, that's perfect.
She's like, my goal is 100,000 YouTube subscribers. And then my next goal would be 300,000 YouTube subscribers. And I'm like, I like how you're thinking.
Yeah.
But instead of thinking I want 100,000 subs, say I'm going to work on my YouTube channel for 1 hour a day. That doesn't mean you have to post every day. That just means you have to work on your channel for 1 hour a day. And I guarantee you, before you know it, you'll have 100,000 and then 300,000. And you'll be burning way past that.
Dude, this guy here, she probably knows all this stuff, but he's even talking just posting once a week, but like making sure you're doing, keyword searches on your niche and like make sure there's people who are looking for your videos
do it
and all that stuff. But so like that's definitely a process goal I want to get involved in, but I think it's small. And here's what I wanted to add to that is that, so I do that with running. My running is like, I have a little bit of a race that I want to do because that helps. Now I have a training plan. So, and this was the second part I wanted to point to.
You always put something out there.
Training plan is key. Yeah, because now it gives me a process. Because before I had the race, I didn't know of a training plan. Now I have a training plan because there's a goal, right? But I didn't have the goal. I guess I had the goal in mind.
The goal gave you the consistency factor. Yeah.
Yeah, but it can flip flop. It can flip flop because sometimes
I agree. That's why I kind of backpedaled on the goal.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Yeah,
because just the process of me wanting to run, all of a sudden I'm out there thinking, and then I've come up with goals. So just the process itself can bring light the goal, right?
Right. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by consistency. That it was those small goals or that training plan or whatever. Yeah. So when you do set something like, hey, I want to. You have to be kind of general. Like, I want to run a marathon. I want to have a successful YouTube channel. That's a goal. Don't get me wrong, but when you put like hard defined terms on it, like, I want to be able to run 50 miles and keep my heart rate under this. Instead of doing that, just say, I should run an hour a day every day. And then eventually you'll get to that goal anyway.
Yeah. Then you start paying attention to your heart rate.
And then you'll learn more shit. Like you said, you'll find a training plan. You'll find some other shit that, as long as you're doing it, like if you're not doing it, you're not going to be finding any of this shit. You're not going to run into people. You're not going to stop at a street light without some other runner who's standing next to you. You're both waiting for the light to change and you're looking at his shoes. You're like, dude, those are kick-ass shoes. I've never seen those before. And you ask him, you're like, hey, dude, what kind of shoes are those? And he's like, they're this and this, or whatever. And you're like, well, do you like them or what? And he's like, I live and die by them, man. I wouldn't get anything else. And you're like, shit, okay, where'd you get them? And then you get that info. You go to that website, you check it out. You're like, holy shit, you just changed your entire game by just talking to some dude at a red light while you were both waiting to cross the street.
That's true. And next thing you know, that's a running website and there's your training plan. And then you're like, you meet people at the running club that you just joined. That's the shit.
Right. Or they have a running club and then you join that running club. And then in that running club, the guy is there that told you about the shoes, or something. That's how fucking
he
crazy the
grabs your
world
ass.
is.
You're like, oh boy, this guy.
Next thing you know, you have a lawsuit on your hands. You get paid. You move out to
you open your own running club.
huge track, middle
I've
of the
seen it
field.
100 times.
Yeah, this is just standard. Standard.
Dude, it's I like the process thing. You will be seeing a YouTube channel really come out from me. I need to have the plan because I never knew what the goal was. I mean, I like what the goal is. The goal is like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. But the goal, I think, has to be big enough to inspire you to show up every day.
That consistency for sure.
It has to be big enough to inspire you, not something you think you can achieve, but something you think you can achieve, but also with a lot of hopeful some luck and all that shit, right? So
or I'll just double it up if I miss this one. Or like you got to get the excuses out of the way, bro. Like that's the biggest problem with me, with everybody, dude, is that like you always have a reason not to do what you're supposed to be doing. And that's the hardest part, is to keep that thought and just let it go right through your mind and just be like, oh, I could go eat some ice cream right now. Just let that go and be like, thanks for that tip, but I gotta go hit the trails because I gotta close my reins. You just gotta let that shit come in and just go right through. And I've been having trouble with that because when something scares me, I lock onto it and almost like put a fucking target on it, like tracking this motherfucker because I want to shoot and kill it, because I'm afraid of it. And like obviously recently it's been all the scary shit with them forcing poisons on our kids and stuff. I can't even say the words because we'll get removed.
Yeah,
that's how crazy this world is. But the fact that they want to poison our children and shit is just, it's making me really sad, and it's making me really, really frustrated. And I'm having trouble letting that go through my mind. It's always like deep, and then I lock on it way too much and let it consume me until I can calm myself back down and brush it out of the way, or just get distracted, even. But that's not how I want to live, man. And I always preach, don't live in fear. But this motherfucker's got me gripped by the balls right now, dude. I mean, like, I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I think about it a lot too. I just think there isn't a decision I can make. There isn't a decision that I'm supposed to make right now because there isn't anything for me to make. Nobody's asking me anything. So I'm like, okay, fine. And I can't use.
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, I'm good at keeping the energy away until I need it.
That's what I got to practice.
Yeah, it drives Jenny probably crazy sometimes, but
I'm sure Rachel's
something
thrilled.
I can probably compartmentalize. But I don't know. I mean,
it's so hard because like if you don't take it serious, or like if you, and I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I know.
But if you don't take it serious, and then something does happen, you're gonna hate yourself, and you're gonna have regret that you didn't take it serious early enough. Like cancer or something.
Yeah.
But if you let it, or if you do take it too serious and then nothing happens, you just wasted all of that time and lowered your frequency level a lot, and now you have to build that back up. And who knows if you even can, because you might have lost really important shit, like your girlfriend, your wife, your house, your job, whatever the fuck. And picking up those pieces is a lot more difficult than just picking up, a bad day at work.
I think just the only thing you can do is that you can listen to yourself, your gut self, not the other couple people in there, and you just go with your vibe. And if your vibe because if you go off vibe, if you go off what your heart's telling you, if you go off vibe, then you're going to be like, fuck, I knew it. What I mean?
You're going to regret it.
You can never go against that. Even if it's telling you to hold the line, like you have to know you stayed true, because when you cross yourself, it's like when you're golfing and you've been over the ball too long and you should back off, and you're like, back off. You're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. And then you go. It's horrible. 100% of the time, it's
100%.
You have to back off, and you have to listen to that voice. And so when that thing's telling you, especially if it's telling you, like you're doing something and you're going against the grain, and it's telling you fucking know better, like and you have that feeling, then. So like if you're doing that, then you're doing it wrong.
You got to catch it in the moment.
Yeah. So if you're like following your thing, your light, then you're fine.
Well, what's crazy is I was doing more homework.
Like you of all people.
I know, dude. Right. So I was doing some. Exactly, dude. I was doing some homework into, like you were saying, like how you capture that light, how you lock into the God voice, or to the that predictive God voice thing that I was telling you about before. And I found out what it really is. And I found out, you know, how it really works. It's called the Akashic Record. And so the Akashic Record is what I've been tapping into. And it's pretty much, it works like this. It's like an apple tree, right? And so when you tap into the Akashic Record, you enter this orchard, and there's a guy there that will grab any apple you want from any tree, but you have to tell him specifically which apple you're looking for. And if you're like, yeah, just grab me that one over there, and he's like, well, what's the number, what's the, you know, the code on it, so I know exactly which one to pick. And you're like, sector C, apple 4 in the lower left, you know, or something like that. You can get to that level with the Akashic Record. I'm not there. I'm like, anyone will do, dude. And so then he brings it over to me. I'm like, fucking Bitcoin. Oh, that's weird. Bring me another one. And he's like, brings me another one. Ethereum. Oh, okay. Bring me another one. And he's like, you know, the Tesla. Oh, okay. You know, and then I'm like, keep just bringing them, you know. And he's like, come on, dude, you know, like there's other people in line, you know, that type of stuff, you know. I'm just kidding about the line thing, but what I've been trying to do is like, now I want to go back and I want to ask for specific apples, right? So I did that, and I was like, I want you to show me an apple from the future tree, from like the, you know, like the general just future tree, because you can get ones from the past, you can get ones from the present, you can get ones from the future. The whole entire record of all of mankind ever, forward, backwards, present, exists in the Akashic Record. So so the apple orchard caregiver was like, are you sure you want one of these apples? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, what if you don't like what you see on that apple? And I told you this story. And and I'm like, damn, okay. You know, I'm like, that's a great point. Let me think about it really quick. I'll come back. And he's like, all right. You know, so I left, and I was like, damn, you know, like, what if I do get a fucking rotten apple and it shows me all this crazy shit? And, you know, and I know that that's true because this is the fucking Akashic Record. It already happened. I'm like, damn, dude. And I'm like, well, I got to live through it anyway. So I want to see the apple. So I went back, and I'm like, hey, dude, I want to see it. He's like, you're sure? Damn. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. So he hands me the first apple, and I look at this thing, and it's pure destruction, pure chaos, pure pain, pure agony. There's death everywhere, buildings burning, everything on fire, just destruction. And my heart drops, you know, your stomach drops like on a roller coaster. Yeah. And I gave him the apple back, and he looks me right in the eye. He's like, I told you. He's like, I warned you, man. He's like, now you can't unsee that. And I'm just like, I know, dude, I know. And this is years ago. And so then I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking crazy. Everything's going to be fine. Lo and behold, over the last couple of years, I start seeing some of the things that I saw in the apple, the riots, the looting, all of the problems with Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all that stuff. I saw all that before it happened. And I was just like, damn, dude, that's exactly what I saw. But then it got worse. Like, I saw what's coming next. Shit. And it's not good. Like, I mean, it's not good, dude. And I kind of wish I didn't ask for that apple. I really kind of wish that I didn't ask for that apple, because without that knowledge, I could be in a different mental state just through pure ignorance, you know, kind of like in the Matrix, where the guy's like, you know, they don't even want to know, you know,
ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean like,
there's something,
but now I can't not see that, dude, you know?
Well, so then how do you use it? I mean, it should
exactly. You have to prepare. You just have to prepare and get ready. And you just have to make sure that you have your shit together. You have to make sure that you can bring the light to the table. If I can bring the light to the table and be an example for somebody else, then you might go and bring the light to the table. And then somebody sees you do it, they might bring their light to the table. Eventually, we're going to have a perfect circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's the goal,
but
right?
How do you, how do you use that?
It's hard with that info.
How do you use that knowledge to put you in a calm state, like an enlightened state, right? And say, I do know this, so like maybe I can be some solace of calm and safety when everybody else is losing it, because I've had time to sit with it. So like, how do I use that to be that? And I think you're heading down that direction, because
so confused.
You know, you're helping me with
hard,
like prep.
Man.
I'm prepping. I'm making sure that I have stuff at the house in case, because you know, I'm thinking more about owning land, like a big part of land. So I'm like, you're really affecting me a lot with it too. So I mean,
I think that's the move. Exactly.
It's definitely the move.
Look, if you're going to teach your kids some survival stuff, or even yourself, you know, if you're going to teach, or if you're going to stockpile some water, who knows if there's some fucking huge storms or some natural disaster. It has nothing to do with man's greed, you know, or ego. Then you're ready. if you have, you know, problems with water like Flint, Michigan, and you have a bunch of bottled water saved up, you're good to go. If you have a bunch of stored food and for some reason there's a trucking strike and the food can't get to the stores, you're good to go. It doesn't have to be always, you know, some huge conspiracy theory that, you know, is going to end the fucking world and it's mass genocide. It could just be something like a strike, you know, a trucking strike. But if you're not prepared, you're going to then feel the panic, hate, fear times 100, you know, that anybody else would. And I think that that's kind of like what you said. That's what I'm trying to spin this off as, is like, you know, use this as like a, you know, a way to educate yourself, as a way to learn some of the forgotten things that we all were good at, that we all used for everyday survival.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
shit
why
like
I
that.
love the running, because I feel like it taps me into more of my human spirit. And like, I think about, hey man, if I was up in the morning and I had to go run, get water, or I had to go run, you know, whatever it is to a market or to get some fresh food or whatever the hell it might be for my family. So I think about being out on the road and like running to that, and like running, you know, across like the desert to like wherever I need to get. Cause this is my daily thing, whether I'm jogging, whatever. And so it's like, I think we really got to get back in tune to that, you know. Pain, as we have this little puppy over here, and Payne's kind of rough with her sometimes, you know, she's little. He's the only one he can command, right? It's like shit rolls downhill, and she's below him in the totem pole.
But it's a great teaching opportunity, right?
It's a great opportunity, yeah. And so he's been a little rough with her at times, because you know she's still a puppy. But and after that Hopi video, though, like today, I said, hey, would you go outside?
Did you play it for him?
No, I didn't. Actually,
I played it for Dakota, dude.
I should.
And I prefaced it by like this. I'm going to let you finish that.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah.
I said, I've been giving you bad advice. Listen to this.
That's good, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that made me want to be a farmer. And so, Sonny was tangled. Our dog Sonny was tangled around the chair. And I said, hey, go out there and get Sonny off the chair. And I could see him being frustrated, like getting the thing, like, Sonny, come on, come on. And I was like, hey, when you go out there, I'm like, remember, like she has, you know, she's this part of the spirit, you know, like part of this world too, right?
Yes.
Like, so be gentle with her. I was like, be kind and just talk kind to her, okay? So
use vibes.
Yeah, and I went out there and I saw him. Yeah, and he just like walked around the thing, and he just kind of walked around the pot that she needed to get undone, and she just and which is uncharacteristic of her, but just kind of like followed him around, and she was immediately untangled, and he was so calm about it.
Because he sent off different energy.
Because of that, video. And I was like, dude, I got to make sure I'm tapping into this kid with this. Because
good
with him. But like, I liked that. It was perfect for that, because I was like, I wanted him to know that, like I said, she has feelings too. You know, she's a human. She's an animal of this world.
Spirit,
like,
for sure.
We're all here together.
Yeah, man. We share really this joint. Cool. Yeah. You know what's crazy too is
it was really awesome.
What was wild is before I saw that video and before I got into, you know, that aspect of Native American intelligence and spirituality, or just spirituality in general, I kept seeing something where it was like, let me get this right. It was like, when you're ready, like a teacher will show up. It was something, they said it way better than that, you know, in all the clips I was seeing. But you know, when you're ready, that you know, your guide will arrive or show up or something like that. And it was kind of crazy because I was feeling a little lost. That's why I wear the Vegvisir. You know, this is a is a Norwegian Viking necklace that is it's pretty much, it is like a it's a compass, but it's also like a magic spell for runes that helps you always find your way home. So
nice.
That they'll put it on ships, they'll put it on the flags, they'll put, you know, they'll wear it in jewelry, they will tattoo it on themselves and shit, and it's super popular. You'll see it everywhere. But just, it's one of those things, because, you know, home for them was so important, and getting back to, you know, your family and stuff was what it was all about. And it was kind of like one of those type of deals. And I was looking for direction. You know, I'm looking for direction. You could tell I was looking for direction. And I was looking for some help, and I couldn't tap into the Akashic record because fear had lowered the frequency of, you know, my abilities so much that I couldn't get back in. They wouldn't let me in the orchard, and I was kind of pissed, and it made it worse, you know?
It made it worse.
Yeah. And they're like, that's just going to fucking make it worse, dude. And I'm just like, oh, you know,
maybe you need, to break through that before you can get back in.
Yeah.
Maybe like to deal, they're like, you need to deal with what we showed you or something.
That's what they said to me, is pretty much, they said it was like this. It was like, you're being tested because you're ready to move to the next level of consciousness. But if you don't prove to us that you've learned anything and you regress back into the same third, level of consciousness, we're not going to allow you back in here. We're not going to give you access to all this information and all this spirituality. So you have to prove to us that, you were ready pretty much. This is a test, and you're going to get some shit thrown at you that's going to be challenging, because to get from 3 to 4 is really fucking tough.
So do you know how, when it's time to do something?
Go ahead, drop it on me.
What is it time to do for you? Like when you could, like I know right now it's time for me to add weights. I was talking about adding weights.
Sure.
But I haven't to the degree I want to. So what has shown itself that?
Right. So what they told me is there is no future, there is no past. You keep coming here asking for future information. But one of the reasons why your frequency level has dropped so much is because you're too far out into the future now. They said you need to bring yourself back into the present. You're drifting. And I was just like, that makes total fucking sense.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what you said. Your problems are your problems right now. Your challenges are your challenges right now. The only moment that exists is this one. The only space. Wait, I actually wrote this down. What was it? Hang on, I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, here we go.
Right,
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Where are you? And I was like, I don't know. And it said here. It said, what time is it? I'm like, 8:30. And they're like, now. And they go, what are you? And I'm like, human? And they go, this moment. And I was like, say it again. So they're like, where are you? And it was here. What time is it? Now. Where are you? This moment. They're like, that's your mantra. And I wrote that fucking shit down, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. Right in the middle of, I'm going to tell you the story. So I was in the middle of work. This is my work notebook, like, I don't know if I had, I put the sticker over it. But you can see it's all work related shit. And so in the middle of working, I got it right now. So when the spirit enters you, you get the goosebumps, right? And I don't know what spirit it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when you get the spirit and you get the messages, you just get goosebumps, and then the spirit will pass and it'll go away. And when I was reading the mantra, it arrived because it heard me. So
that's
just now,
awesome.
just like really right
that's
now.
Amazing.
And yeah. So pretty much when I was working, out of nowhere, the spirit hit me and it made me feel like I was going to pass out because it was heavy. It was really fucking heavy. And I was like, oh, and then I put my head down, right? And it said, it's okay to cry. And I was just like, what? And they're like, if you cry, you let the sadness out. And I'm like, huh. And I was like, that's interesting. And then I started crying. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. So then I stopped crying. And it said, here's what you need to use for your mantra. And it said, where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. Where are you? This moment,
So it's telling you to start worrying about
in the present.
Future, brah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how it went down, dude. Yeah. And I immediately wrote it down right there in the middle of my notes. It was like 1:30 in the afternoon on Monday, this past Monday.
No way.
And yeah. And I was just like, I was like, thank you.
That's intense.
Yeah. And then after that, I couldn't even work. So I walked away and tried to like wrap my head around that. And that's when I realized that, when I have these thoughts of fear, I have to just say, thank you for that information and let it go, because I've also been looking into the whole principle of you're not your thoughts. The Akashic record delivers your thoughts. You're actually a receiving antenna. That's why we're made up mostly of water. So if you think about this, you might have a thought like, oh man, it'd be great to jerk off right now, right? But you're on the train going to the city. You're like, well, I can't do that.
I'm on the train. Yeah.
Boom, the thought hits your head, and I went extreme. The thought hits your head, and that's not your thought. It was delivered to you through your antenna, through the Akashic record.
Okay.
And the only thing that you're in control of is the choice. So you could bust it out and start slapping it right there, or you could be like, we'll wait a little bit later.
A little shade, maybe.
And inherit,
a tunnel.
Maybe grab a blanket.
You go through the tunnel now.
Oh, thank God I'm a 2-pump chump. But but honestly, it was one of those type of deals where it was like you have the choice, and everybody inherently knows what's kind of right and wrong, like even without being taught what's right and wrong, you kind of know, you can feel it. Yeah. So that was kind of where I was at after that. It was just like one of those deals like, you're not your thoughts, you're the observer. You get to pick what you do with those thoughts. You choose based on the thoughts that come through your head. It could be like, go kill that motherfucker, and of course you're not going to do it. Or it could be like, go give that guy a hug. And, obviously, if he doesn't have a fucking shotgun and he's trying to kill you, that's probably going to turn out a little bit better. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you kind of have to, you have to view your thoughts from like a third party perspective, because you're not your thoughts. And everybody always wants to think that they're their thoughts. That's my idea. You hear that all the time. No, it's not. This is my body. No, it's not. We rent this shit from Mother Nature. Everybody wants to own it all, because we've built this gigantic materialistic machine where everything's about material stuff. Who's got the most shit? Who can stockpile the most crap in your storage unit? Stuff like that. It's like,
it's a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. No. That's not what it is. That's baggage that prevents you from accessing these, why you're truly here, which is the test. And the test is spiritual in nature, because this is just a fucking rented flesh suit.
You
we exist beyond this.
Yeah, the energy. You talked about creating, like we're
for sure
creating something.
That's what creating.
We're here for, is to create. And I love that, because people do have the need to, build things, right? That's why there's this drive to build something, make something that's going to last, to create something, art and music, and to communicate and all that stuff.
That's true. Like putting your flag down, like it's not like you own a Ferrari. Yeah. But if you built, some, huge facility where people could go, like you said, unplug, spiritually connect again, and that thing exists for 300 years after you're dead.
Yeah,
that's better than owning a billion Ferraris. It's better than it's better than having all of the money of Elon Musk and Bill Gates combined.
No, dude,
but people would be like, I don't think so. I'd rather have that money. Well, you're fucking stupid. I don't know, but that's not what I should be saying. That's a bad thing to say. That's lowering your frequency right there.
No, you're good, man.
You're misguided. That's what I need to say. You're misguided. You need to come back to the path. And we've talked about the path all the time. And spiritually, this world's in disarray. Like everybody's abandoning the spirituality. They're embracing materialism even more, because it's sold so hard and it's ingrained in you from day one. So I think that, we need to get back to spirituality. I think and I'm not talking about religion, bro. I'm not saying go to church and read the Bible. The Bible was stolen from the Egyptians. And the Egyptians took it from the Sumerians, and the Sumerians took it from the Anunnaki. This is the fourth revolution of our entire human race. This is the fourth time that this has been attempted on planet Earth. It goes back 200,000 years. They don't teach you any of this shit, because it would destroy everything that we've ever known and prove everybody to be liars and manipulators. So of course they don't say any of this shit, but you can literally go to Egypt. You can literally go to Babylon, the Middle East, Sumeria, and see the tablets, see the scriptures written right on the side of a mountain. Like they can't deny that that's there. They can't deny that that's real. And when you carbon date it and it comes up 200,000 years ago, you're like, well, shit, I thought we were only here 6,000 years ago.
Yeah. How did that happen?
No, right.
I get you.
Now people are starting to realize that there's more to the story. The story's been controlled. The story's been manipulated. The story's been twisted. And the people that win are the ones that write history, not real history. It's the kings and queens that won, that got to write the history. That's why, Amun-Ra in Egypt, when he took over the throne after the Sumerians and Anunnaki kind of granted him humanly power over humans, he was like, well, fuck this, I'm going to remove all the references to all other gods. I want to be the only god, because the babysitters left, his parents took off, and he's like, I'm fucking running the show now. So he literally had people going around in ancient Egypt and removing the faces and references to a lot of shit. It started back then. Where the message was starting to get controlled and censored. And it's to a fucking crazy level at this point, where all history is censored, all current stuff is censored, everything is getting crazy censored, because everyone wants to control the message. It's an ego thing, and it's a control thing, and the truth needs to get out there, dude, that we are super special beings that were made in the likeness of God, but actually God in the Bible is actually plural, so gods, and the story of Jesus and everything is true, but that's not Jesus's story. They stole it from a guy named Joseph, who stole it from a guy named Enlil. You know, so there's a record of these people just repeating the same story and saying, no, I was that guy. You know what I mean? And I was the one who built the ark. I was the one who, you know, crucified myself for all salvation. That happened 200,000 years ago. They just heard the story and were like, I'm that guy. You know, no one can tell you different because there was no internet. There was no fact checkers. There was just space. So if you showed up somewhere and you were like, I'm the son of God, and you could do some crazy shit and, you know, get people to follow you, and you might have known a little bit more about science or math or something from the Egyptians, because that's what Plato and all of his followers did. You can use that as quote unquote magic, or you can use that even the information of like a solar eclipse, you can use back in those days to call yourself a god and literally take the sun away. And they have no clue how you're doing that. And then they will worship you as a god, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's that easy.
That guy was a good salesman. I think we talked about.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. We told that story. That's how it works, dude.
No, that's true. A couple things I like about, so getting in tune spiritually. So I think about the Hopi for one. So
love it.
We live here in America and this is their land, right? So like, let's say Native American land. Like regardless of wherever you live, you need to tap into the indigenous people of that land because
I agree.
You know how you know the vibe? Like, let's say like in your hometown, you go to your hometown, you know how to act in that hometown. You know how to be, you know what's cool, you know what's not.
You can tap into that frequency.
But when you move somewhere new, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is a safe street. I don't know the vibe. I don't know if riding my bike down this street is their Piper Lane or not.
Yeah.
I don't know that. But sometimes you just feel it. And you can feel at home in a place that's not your home, right? Because you're in tune there. Yep. And so it's like, I want to know how they felt about this land, this being their land, and how they felt, because it'll help me read it. It'll help me feel in tune to it, for one.
Yeah.
Two, I was going to bring this up earlier when you told me how you're feeling. And now after you said that quote is essentially just laying out the 3 steps to freaking meditation. They're asking you just to meditate, because that's the
mantra
technique that you need, is the letting it pass through. And they're asking you to not be so mad at this thing. They're asking
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
it is really cool that I was looking for guidance, and I was like I said, I was wearing, you know, the request. Literally,
you were wearing
I was asking for so long, and I thought that, you know, there was no way that I would get any type of tips or info. I couldn't get back into the orchard, but like I said, I got that message, and it was exactly what I needed, exactly when I needed it. But then after I got the message, I cried a little bit. I let out the sadness. I felt foolish, and a little ashamed, which is like the lowest frequency you can get, you know? And I was like, I'm kind of fucking at the bottom here. So I've hit rock bottom. Let's bounce off this and try to take this, capture it, and move forward now. And again, then the next thing I see was a video about moving forward, and I'm just like, Yahtzee, you know? And I was just like, this is perfect. I've been walking backwards way too long, you know? So so there was just, it's just like one of those things where it's like numerology, you know, you're all about the number 222 and you start seeing 222 everywhere. That's kind of what was happening to me.
Yeah.
I was just recognizing it. Yeah. I was tapping in, I was tuning in again. Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome to see. I mean, not really, but in theory, like just to see, you know, somebody who is highly functionable and works on a high frequency. Like,
I'm proud of that.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, still struggle with like just everyday emotional stuff, because you'd think like we've worked through a lot of this stuff. Like we've done a lot of self-development work. Like we're really trying to look at ourselves. We're really trying to work on that. And it's just like,
I really am.
No matter how far you're doing that, it's like there's still like these things inside of us, right?
And I do you feel lonely sometimes on this journey, dude? Because I feel lonely a lot. Like people really look at me like I'm fucking crazy.
Me too.
And I think that people look at me like, you know, like I'm kind of ignorant. And then I start to get mad at sometimes because I'm a body language guy, you know, so I'm like, if I see somebody looking at me like this dude's off his fucking rocker, I will immediately start speaking to their body language. Not even that they said anything to me.
Yeah,
I'll be like, you're fucking crazy. And they'll be like, what? You know, like, yeah. So I'm trying to let that go. But after like, no, I'm not even kidding. after I cried, after I got the mantra, after I got the message, I hit that new low. And then my body actually started to feel it. Like I started to feel like I was getting sick. The allergy thing I was telling you about, I couldn't sleep. Like all of a sudden, I didn't even feel like I was in the right body. Like, dude, I'm not even kidding you, Joel. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, this is a shitty body they dumped me in. It's like, God damn.
Do you remember the first Jordan Peterson book when he talked about the lobster?
Yeah,
That's
but I don't remember
what it made me think. He was essentially saying like when lobsters fight, one guy crushes the other one, he's so defeated, he will essentially fall apart.
Yes.
And like he could die, but if he doesn't die, he goes because he's crushed, like his soul
gets super sick and everything.
Yeah, he gets like really sick and like flakes off, like, but he can
goes to the bottom of the sea.
Goes to the bottom. It's all weird and stuff. And it was like that was really interesting. That what it had made me feel like, because it felt like your body. You said your body was like
it literally did. It felt like it was hurting. I felt like I was getting sick. But it's just detox because I'm not sick. Detox, you know, it's my whole body wanted to let go of all of that stress, all of that energy, all of that, that I was holding on to use it, like you said, to use it for defense or to use it to attack.
Yeah, that's toxic.
Yeah. And I just kept grabbing it and getting ready, and not in the good way, like in the way of like, the next motherfucker that says something to me about this goddamn V shot, I am gonna flip the fuck out.
Yeah. I wondered why. Well, I know you have children there, but I wondered why you guys live where you live, because
I agree, dude.
You work remotely, and I mean,
well, girl, you're hitting the nail on the head.
But like, I thought that the other day when I was driving through the car, it hit me all of a sudden. I was like, why are they?
I'm not thrilled to live here
right now. Like,
I'm not thrilled to be here. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude.
Yeah, I hear you.
I do not like living in this state. I don't like living in this area. I don't like living next to this many people. I don't like having this much shit to deal with all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
And once Dakota hits age, I'm gone, regardless of my situation at that point. I'm gone.
I know, but like, how does that? That's a long time.
It's 8 years, a little less than 8 years.
That's like a decade. You're asking. I think. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean,
I might do it earlier and just play the, like the game, because she's going to get to a point too where she's going to be all about her friends and stuff. And I just need to be there for support every once in a while, take her to dinner, guide her a little bit. I won't have the full, like involvement like you have now with Payne and I have now with Dakota. I've seen it with Kat and Rachel, because she's in high school now. So, so once that happens in the next like 2-3 years, I definitely will get set up somewhere else and then just kind of come back and forth.
Or something, man, or some traveling. You need some traveling or something.
I definitely do. I'm going up to Door County, which is my spiritual place. I'm going up there on Monday. Good. Yeah. And I'm going up there with Dakota. Cool. And I am going to take her to my most spiritual place, which is it's kind of up by Death's Door. And there's like this rocky cliff pretty much that looks out over Green Bay, and super dark up there. Green Bay is way down to the south from where I'm at, because I'm all the way up at like the tip of Door County, and it's an island. And Escanaba is way to the right, so that's the only other 2 sources of light pollution. And in the summer, I've showed you the pictures. The Milky Way comes straight up over your head, down the middle like this. Yeah. So you get some crazy ass energy from that place. There's a bunch of places that you can tap energy in Door County. That's why I love it. I call it the portal.
Yeah.
So I've already decided. I immediately hit my friend up and I was like, hey, I need the place. Let's go. And he's like, no problem, man. When do you want to go? And I'm like, Monday. He's like, all yours.
Nice.
So yep. So I got all that figured out, and I'm heading up there on Monday.
Something about, I want to touch real quick before we probably split.
Yeah, and then I got to bounce in like 5.
Is the morning runs again, or like the morning exercise? Because I've heard Sadhguru talk a lot about being there's this spiritual time of the day. I think it's like 3:20.
Oh, dude. Yes, I have heard about
whatever
this.
It is.
Yeah.
So like, because it makes me think, when you're out, and you're a fisherman, so you know this, but you're out at the break of dawn, that piece, do you know that piece? That piece only exists at like that time of the day.
Oh, dude, you're not kidding. It's magical.
It might happen in the evening. There is an evening piece, but it's
every once
settling.
In a while.
It's a settling. This before the rush is a different piece, and so spend some time in that piece. That's why I was saying, if you wake up early and you try to even get the morning walks that you're doing in the evenings, there's that peace and that
I walk in the summer, run in the winter.
Spiritual time in the morning that maybe
I got to just do the morning thing in general, dude, because there's something magical about the morning that I'm
something
missing.
more magical about the morning. That's what I'm trying to say.
And it's better than the night. It's better than the night.
Better than the night. It's different.
I know it.
It's a happier spirit.
It is, dude. It is.
It's a happier spirit.
It is definitely a better energy.
Yeah. Well, go get some rest, brother. I appreciate you taking the time. I missed you, and just thanks for doing it.
I wasn't gonna miss this for the world, and that's why I was just like, suck it up, Buttercup. No, and I wanted to tell you some of my shit that's going on. We could have gotten wake. We had so much fucking content, Olito. We could have gotten crazy, bro.
We could have gotten deep, but this will be a good premise for next time. We'll launch off this.
I'm in, dude. I'm in. And I'm gonna send you some books. I'm gonna send you some stuff that I've been checking out. Real small stuff. And then maybe next time too, let's talk about the Marcus Aurelius book. If you had a chance to hit that up a little bit.
I'm definitely in. Okay. I'm doing it right. I got my note cards, my highlighter. Yeah, me too. I'm doing the whole thing. Yeah.
Where the fuck is that?
There's some gems in there, man.
Yeah, let's maybe talk about that. I'll bring up some of the books that I'm talking about that I'm gonna send to you. But we need to get back on a spiritual journey, a spiritual path. You know, no more of this material shit.
No,
that'll just come.
There's a really cool book I got. The Lee Strasberg talks about method acting. He's the guy that invented like method. You know, these guys when they become the character for Joaquin Phoenix for like 3 months. That's like their process.
Christian Bale's all about it.
Well, this is the guy Strasberg that like invented it.
Sure.
And so I'm excited to read that book, but we'll talk about books next time.
Definitely. Let's deep dive into some literature, and then we'll just go from there. That'll take us on a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Well,
we'll go party with the fam.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate talking, man, and I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right. See you, bud.